I'm not gonna stay on this like whole fat shaming thing that I'm going on. So I'm gonna shut my mouth because I feel like I'm gonna say something stupid that I shouldn't say. So I'm gonna keep quiet. But we're going Plymouth. We're going my hometown. But yeah, no. My belly, I do want to get rid of my belly. I want to get rid of it because it sticks out a bit too much. Like I used to do Spider-Man birthday parties for kids. I was fully DBS checked. I dressed up as the No Way Home final swingsuit Spider-Man. I'd go to these parties, and I'm fairly new. I was fairly new to it, so I didn't know what to do. So I was always asking my friend who, did Spider-Man parties like almost every weekend, like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, because parents would say, like, do you do anything? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here, I'm Spider-Man. And they were like, no, do you do anything? Do you, like, play with the kids? Do you, like, shoot web shooters or something? And essentially, I think in the end, it just got to a point where the parents were like, he's not doing anything, we want him to leave. Like, I earned £115 in a day because I did 3 parties in a day covering for said friend. I did 3 parties. One was at some kid's house and they had a massive party and we played together, like me and this kid played together. It's like, yeah, Spider-Man's playing with me, and then we all ran around and played and they had a good time, and they're like, oh yeah, I can't believe Spider-Man was here. And then I left, they paid me, and then I left. Another one was just in a house. I went upstairs, I went into somebody's house in their front room. The dad was more interested than the kids, and I just turned up and they're like, yeah, the mum was there, and I don't want to say it, but she had some big, her chest was big, and she was wearing a low-cut dress, and yeah. It's a good thing I was wearing a cup. I'm joking, but no. But it was, I was there for like 10 minutes just talking to his dad, and he goes, oh, I've always wanted to get a suit like that. I was like, oh yeah, you can get them online. He goes, oh yeah, you do this often? I was like, yeah. And then the mum gave me a hug, the dad gave me a handshake. I said hi to the kids, but they just didn't care, because it was like teenagers. And I was like, okay, cool. And then the third party in that day, I did nothing, and I still got paid. I turned up at this like indoor jump bounce house thing, and they were like, when I walked in, the guy was like, oh, are you here for the party? And I was like, yeah. Okay, you're gonna need these socks. And I was like, dude. And I showed him my feet in a Spidey suit, and I was like, I'm wearing socks, the suit has built-in socks. And he goes, oh, okay, right, yep, sure. And I went up and I just stood in that there's like a little cafe area where they were having the party, and I just stood there for like 10-20 minutes doing nothing, just standing there. One of the dads and his kid had a photo with me, and I was like, yeah. And then the main guy for the party was just like, mate, come with me, look, he's not interested, I'm sorry for wasting your time, I'm going to pay you a little bit more than, because I feel like I've just wasted your time. And I was like, nah, it's fine, don't worry. And he went, no, look, for my own like morals, I can't just have you come here and do nothing, so here I'm going to pay you a little bit extra. So he paid me a little bit extra, and then off I went, got back in the car with my friend, and I was like, yeah, so I did nothing. And she went, okay. So I got paid 115 quid for that. But some of these other parties that I've done, the parents would come up to me and just went, oh, I didn't know I was ordering the fat Spider-Man. And I was like, was that necessary? There was a few parties where like I cheered up a kid because he was upset, and I was like, mate, are you alright? And then they'd look, and the kid would look at me and just be like, yeah, are you sure? You want to come have fun with Spider-Man? We'll fight some bad guys? We'll find some bad guys to fight. And then he gets really happy, and then we go off and we fight some bad guys. But there are some times where it's like, oh look, it's the fat Spider-Man, and I'm like, was that really necessary? Did you really need to say, oh look, it's the fat Spider-Man? And then obviously sometimes the parents would say like, do you do anything? I was like, yeah, I'm Spider-Man, I'm here. Do you play with the kids? Do you have like web shooters that shoot? And I did have this whole, before I quit, before I stopped, I had this whole plan. I was going to do Spider School. Yeah, it's my favourite tunnel. I love this tunnel. But I was going to do Spider School, and it was going to be essentially I would turn up, I would have a Spider-Man plushie to give to the birthday kid. So like, for the kid's birthday, he'd get a Spider-Man plushie from Spider-Man. But then we'd also have Spider School, which was going to be, I'd get one of those like cheap web shooters that you can get on like AliExpress or Temu or something, and it just shoots out a dart. Like, it shoots out a dart on a piece of string, or you like one of the little kids ones that shoots out like a little plastic dart or a little rubber dart. And I'd set up a bunch of cups. So I'd set up a bunch of cups with like the bad guys' faces on it on stickers, so like Green Goblin, Rhino, Electro, freaking Dr. Octopus, and they'd have to shoot all of them down. And it was going to be like, oh, this is web shooter training, and then we do like crawling on the floor, like, oh, this is like wall crawling training. And then I was going to go a bit elaborate and have like a friend of mine dress up as Green Goblin and be like, oh no, Green Goblin's here, now you've got to use all your training to defeat Green Goblin. And then they'd use the web shooter, shoot the Green Goblin, and he'd be like, oh no, you've taught these kids too well, Spider-Man, I'll get you next time. And then he runs off and hides off and then gets out the costume. And then I'm there like, yeah, well done kids, and then I give him a card that says, congratulations, you've completed spider training, you're a full-fledged superhero now. And then I'd give them the web shooter. So then, you know, I'd have to go out and buy more for each part that I did, but I'd give them the web shooter, and that was going to be what I was going to do. But then I had my last two events, and that's when I was like, I'm done. The first event I did was a charity event at a place called Western Mill, where I live in Plymouth. It was a charity event. I turned up. They were still going to pay me, which was fine, but I turned up in my Spidey suit. I think I still have the photo from that day saved somewhere. I had a great time. Kids loved me, got photos of everyone. I had the best time ever. I was there, I was like, yeah, welcome, join charity. It was like a free toys thing. You could just like pick up a toy and then off you go. You know, like, you come in, you pick up as many toys as you want and leave. This woman had thousands of toys. She had food and everything, and it was just great. And I turned up, I got dressed into Spider-Man. I had a great time, photos, high fives. I did a couple of cool tricks, like I do a bee kick, and people were loving it. The two old ladies that were there were loving it, and they were happy that I was there, and they thanked me. One of them gave me a lift to my next party, because I had a party in the evening. And this is when I was like, okay, I'm done, because I had a great time at the charity event, but I had a shit time at the party. I turned up at the party, and they're like, and this one kid was like, oh my god, you were at my party. And I was like, oh, and I recognized the kid. I was like, oh hey man, how's it going? And we, you know, I got on well with this kid, and I was like, hey, yeah, how's it going, man? It's good to see you again. Remembered his name as well. I was like, how's it going, Tommy? And he goes, Spider-Man remembers my name. But then this other kid, and I ran onto the bouncy castle, because my friend said, if they have a bouncy castle, get on it, do whatever you can. And they didn't care I was there. They didn't give a shit. The parents come over to me, and they're like, do you do anything? And I was like, yeah, I'm here as Spider-Man. You know, I'm here to... You wanted Spider-Man at your party, you didn't actually say you want me to do anything. And they're like, oh, okay, well, here's your money, you can go now. And I was like, oh, okay, I see how this is. So I literally walked off mid-party, walking through the dance hall, took my mask off, and I was just like, okay, cool. If you're gonna be like, oh, I need to do something, you know, if you're not gonna be specific on what you want me to do, I'm just gonna leave. So I took my mask off and walked off, while kids looked and went, oh my god, Spider-Man just took his mask off, and off I went. Parent did not look happy about that. But I just walked home in the rain in a Spider-Man suit and just went, I've had enough of this now, I'm not doing this anymore. And then I stopped. I would like to go back to it if my stomach goes down. I would like to go back to it and, you know, do the whole idea that I had of, like, you know, Spider School. I think that would be cool. I think that would be fun. But I don't think I'm ever... I would like to go back to it, but I think I need to, like, properly figure out what I want to do. And I don't think I should just stick to one superhero, because I have a Batman costume. Kids love Batman as well. I've got the Flash. I've got Goku, but I don't think kids are going to want Goku to come to their party. But I've got quite a few superheroes that I can do, and I think I'll do fine. But I don't know. I just don't think I'll ever go back to doing parties. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind getting like mascots and that. I want to do Mickey Mouse because I can do the voice. Like I can do Mickey Mouse's voice, and if I get a voice like box, if I get like a little box and a microphone attached to it, I could like go to a kid's party as Mickey Mouse and go, "Aw, hiya, pal." Aw, oh boy. Oh. Well, this sure is a really good party. But yeah, you know, it would be fun. I had a lot of ideas for like these party things, and it's just like a little bit of extra money on the side. So like if I need money for like the kids or something, at least I've got like this like box full of party money that I got paid on the side just in case I'm emergent, like rainy day money. But you never know. Ivy Bridge. I'm kind of bored now. I'm literally bored of doing this right now. I was going to do another one after this, but I genuinely cannot be bothered. Because I am that bored of doing this. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. But I have to finish the scenario. Okay, I have to finish it. We're speeding, so we're going to slow down a bit. Oh man, I feel like I've been doing this forever. I've ran out of things to talk about. I talked about the parties, I talked about friends that are no longer friends, talked about going to the gym, all this other stuff.